love the fact that they're using pretty hurts on that post, because a lot of the time people usually think that wearing things like beads is going to be the solution, or ubutwasa itself is going to be the solution to whatever deep-seated issues or deep-seated traumas they may have gone through. It's usually the soul that needs the surgery. And unfortunately, most of us think that by going to church or by going through certain rituals and ceremonies, it's going to erase the effects, it's going to erase the experience, it's going to automatically heal us and make us better people. And that's not the case. The second thing is beads are symbolic. Beads are symbolic. I think people put too much weight and meaning on beads, right? Hence, we usually see people running around wanting to understand the meaning of the beads. What do the beads mean? The beads mean what they mean under the context in which they are given to the person or applied to the person. When you understand what the beads stand for, when you understand what it took for you to get those beads, when you understand what your own ancestors went through to get to a point where you are healing not only yourself, but them as well with those beads, there's no way you're just cutting them off like that. Kanjalo nje? No, never. Which then leads me to point number 3. You never had an ancestral calling to begin with. Let me not even be personal. People who so easily decide, they wake up one day and decide, you know what, I'm cutting off these beads. You never had an ancestral calling. There is no ancestor, there is no spirit, there is no deity that is just going to watch you clip your beads and let you continue with life. Take it from us. Take it from us. You will get sick. Your mental illness will become even worse than it was before. Your problems will become even worse than they were before. There's no way you had an ancestral calling and then you just wake up one day and cut those beads. You wore those beads for aesthetics. Now it's no longer working for you, or probably you're just looking for some attention. I saw a comment from one of my friends on your post asking, when you put these beads on, did you show it to the whole world? It's giving attention seeking, because you could have just cut them and carried on with your life. Why do you need to post it on TikTok? Number 4, the title said something like, you almost got too comfortable and told us why you no longer believe in African spirituality. Okay. We also need to understand the difference between spirituality and ancestral calling. It's the same as everybody can go to church, but not everyone is called to be a pastor. Not everyone is called to be a deacon, right? I'm using an example of something that you guys are familiar with. And I'll say this again. A lot of the time, when people go to epehlweni, when they are shown to go to epehlweni, it's usually because there is a trauma that they've experienced, a repressed trauma. There are repressed memories that your ancestors and your subconscious are now trying to remind you of that need to be healed. There is a mental illness that has been running in your family for generations that your ancestors want you to put a stop to. Those beads are meant to heal that illness and prevent those unfortunate events or situations from getting worse. They are not meant to do whatever you thought they were going to do. It's a modern development again, whereby we think initiation ubutwasa means we're all going to become sangomas, we're all going to become traditional doctors, we're all going to work and become wildly successful in fields such as divination, medicine, whatever it may be, right? Whatever speciality you think you might have. And it's not that. Sometimes you just were meant to go to that ipehlo as a rehab, heal what you need to heal, go home and rest. Sometimes that isithunywa, that angel, that guide came to you and showed you, hey, I didn't complete my initiation. I need you to go and finish it for me. Can you put my beads on for me? And then when you've put those beads on for that spirit, you're done. That's it. Hence, I will always press you guys to understand the nature of your calling before you start doing anything, before you even buy that pack of candles. What is happening with me? Am I just waking up? Do my ancestors just want me to be woke? Right? They want me to see through the veil. They want me to see through the bullshit. They want me to be the chosen one in the family. Is it that I have an ancestral calling? I have to now go and execute into an African traditional career path? Is it that I may be susceptible to a mental illness that my family doesn't want to speak about? No African family ever wants to speak about it. And now my ancestors are trying to keep me and my children from suffering the effects of this mental illness? Is it that there's so much trauma in our family that now we can't even function in a healthy manner, and I am the one that needs to stop it? It's actually quite concerning for me as well that people show such things online. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to police people's spiritual practices, but you know that in a lot of ways, this is just rage bait. And that's actually the scariest. If you did this just for rage bait, that's literally crazy. You need to go and get help for the states of your mental health, if that is the case. That's my opinion on that, Emma Kosin. Emma Kosin Scroller. Here are 3 food dreams you definitely don't want to have. Number 1, dreaming about swallowing eggs whole. This will usually be a boiled egg, and we'll usually see gents having this dream. If you're having this dream, Chief, it means what?
I command you to make me a sandwich.
What? No one commands the Ice King to make no sandwich.
What about now?
Okay.
Yes, you've had a love potion or something sinister, we call it, being fed to you, right? This is usually in person if you're dreaming about swallowing the eggs whole. If it is being done to you remotely, you will usually have involuntary release of bodily fluids in your sleep at a very unhealthy frequency. Number 2, ibrai pack, right? In South Africa, we have these large chicken pieces or chicken cuts. If you are dreaming about seeing specific family members loading these braai packs into usually the back of a car or a taxi, you've got a problem, right? Conversations are being had about you. Something is about to go down.
Lenani, sinesibhamu sineyimese nifunani. Le usibusiso seyifuna ukubheka off yabo. Intanga mina ngeke ngilonga ngeda ngitsheli lokho.
You need to check who specifically is packing these braai packs. You will almost always see who it is, right? You take note of who those people are. Give it about a week or 2. They're going to call you. You're going to find out why they was running around with chicken pieces in your dreams. The 3rd type of food dream that you do not want to have is where you find yourself at a table full of sweets. This dream will begin with you usually walking through a forest or an old building, ruins, an open field, and you will happen upon a table full of delicious sweet treats. It's usually desserts, yeah? There may be some shots of what is like liqueur. It'll smell like really sweet alcohol. Leave it alone.
Guys, in Toko. Please, guys, don't do that, Toko. Bye.
Think Hansel and Gretel, right? What is a random table full of delicious, delectable goodies doing just chilling in the middle of nowhere? trap. What to do if you do have any of these dreams? If you suspect ulisiwe, you've been fed something sinister, you need to go and see a traditional doctor, izolo, yesterday. The removal of idliso is not as simple and straightforward as the treatments of the other dreams, which I will share with you. It is extremely dangerous and it is extremely painful because essentially you have been fed a parasite that has latched onto the bottom of your stomach. So now I'm not talking about these 20 cents amadliso where they just tell you to go purge and you purge it out and it's out. No, for that one, it's very serious. When we pull it out of you, it is an actual physical thing. It's a thing. If your family is busy with the bride packs, you will need to make some holy ash. You're not gonna go online and search holy ash. You're not gonna go and buy it from your favorite gogo, mkulu, or makosi. No.
You need to chill. Awesome. Other level type shit.
You are going to make it, and then you are going to have to make a tincture out of that, a highly concentrated tincture, ideally mixed with impepho yasehlathini. Right? There's no English translation for that one. And then you're going to drink that immediately before you go to sleep. And the dregs that remain at the bottom, you're going to take and smear on the soles of your feet. Finally, sweet treats and desserts. I forgot to explain that this usually means that there are people who are trying to lay some sort of trap for you, right? It may be that they are actively enhancing this trap into your life, or it's somebody just plotting, right? So this is a warning. It's usually showing you someone in your life is not who they are appearing to be, or they are showing themselves to be. And how to solve this one: as soon as you get up, I need you to go and purge. South Africans, if you can purge with very strong Joko tea, you're good, you're outside. You can also use lemon and Himalayan salt. Yes, if your body allows this. If you are not in South Africa, you can use dark flour, right? That is the most potent thing that you can use to purge and get that out of your system. It also then goes together with you actively speaking on these removals. Don't forget, the first one, ukipa idliso, we are doing that one. The other two, you can do for yourself. You ain't gotta pay nobody for that. Stop wasting your money on TikTok wanting to go and be seen at so-and-so's healing institutes.
Shut the f up in the bed, please!
Heal yourself. If your healer is not teaching you how to heal yourself, that's not a healer, that's an entrepreneur. Funulokubuye, funama life bag. That's not what we're doing over here. Kukhanye, kuphinde futhi kwande. Bayede makhosini, siyavuselela. I just woke up and I was recording my dreams, and I thought, while I'm here and before I start the consultations, let's quickly chat about the types of ancestral spirits briefly. It's another absolutely stunning day on the island of Trinidad. It's the northern range in the distance. Yeah, I'm in Island Kiel. The information that I'm sharing with you today is based on my personal experience, which is my own calling. I will be sharing. You need to go and subscribe on the Red app for that. The link is on my TikTok profile together with my Instagram link if you'd like to book a consultation. Also, information that I have received from my respective spiritual parents, spiritual guides, spiritual mentors, colleagues that I've worked with in the field. I also research historical documents, and those are my personal favorites, specifically through the University of Ongoye or the University of Zululand. I have so many stories about Ongoye. Follow me, subscribe as well, and I'll tell you all about them. Spelling is Tsunya. Tsunya, directly translated in the isiZulu language, means a messenger or they who are sent. There are generally two types of izithunya that we encounter. The first is a messenger spirit that is sent by your ancestors or the chief council of ancestors to either relay a message or to make you aware of something. Isitsunywa is akin to what in the West is described as an angel or an angelic spirit. This angelic spirit is not limited to just one realm. It can come from any realm. It can come from a fire realm, a water realm, earth realm, sky realm. The second type of Isitsunywa is a scout. Historically, as Abantu, and more specifically Abangoni, the Nguni nation. During the migration of our first ancestors, when they traveled through foreign or unknown, that is to say, undiscovered or uncharted places, they would normally send someone ahead to check for dangerous animals, wild animals, venomous animals, and then also to send their prayers and requests ahead. We strongly believed during those times that requests reached Onkulunkulu, the sky gods, more quickly or more swiftly if we prayed atop a mountain. And so therefore this person would literally be jogging, sprinting ahead of the tribe, the group, the people, our ancestors, in order to ensure safe passage, in order to make the rest of the group aware of any rivers that may need to be crossed, and also to then ask our ancestors and the respective spirits of the place, abanikazi, nabahlali bendawo, to allow us that safe passage. Almost every single type of calling or gift or ability begins with you witnessing this is Tunya, this angel. They will stand in your room. They will be in your dreams. They will call out to you in nature. You will have the urge to go to certain places and do certain things. In more recent times, I've observed, according to my research, that Amadlozi, Amatongo, our chief ancestors and our resting ancestors, more and more, are choosing to send Izitsunywa who are familiar to us. This is most likely because of just how little we know about how these spirits function due to colonization, due to the knowledge being lost, due to this information not being taught to us on a school level. When Isitsunywa shows up to you, depending on whether you heed the messages and answer and do what you're supposed to do, or you choose not to, you will usually have two outcomes. The first outcome is if Isitsunywa has a high rank in the spiritual realm, Etongwen, the ancestral realm, the astral plane, they themselves will directly begin to take away earthly blessings or earthly possessions from you in order to make you pay more or better attention to the spiritual realm. On the other hand, the messenger will go back to the council, report, and the ancestor or ancestors themselves and execute the calling. This is where we now experience intense spirits like Imdiki, Imdawu, Numguni taking hold of you, indicating to you that they are very powerful and aggressive and in need of medicine, in need of attention, in need of your physical body in order to fulfill something that they cannot execute because they are generally bound to the spiritual realm. I will expand on these and more spirits on my YouTube channel very briefly. Imdiki spirits are based on our Mandika ancestors. They would have migrated from the west of Africa into Central Africa, then dispersing southeastwards and straight southwards. Amandau or Imdawe is two different types of spirits. Imindau or Ndao spirits is primarily the spirits of those people that we encountered when we reached southeastern Africa and had conflicts with the tribes that already were existing there. Imindawe, on the other hand, is mostly the Bushmen, the San we encountered. And because they were nomads, they moved from place to place. A lot of them ended up assimilating into our communities, especially as Abangoni or Nguni peoples. Or Mnguni are what we call a common ancestor, very loosely attached to our founding father as the Nguni nation, Umnguni, who eventually also gave birth to King Xhosa. Okay, let's talk about trauma while I take care of my skin after a very long day.
Come here, let me show you my family heirloom. Generational trauma.
According to Western psychology, and today I am citing the American Psychological Association, trauma is defined as an emotional response to a terrible event. The definition speaks to an emotional response, but I need all of us to understand that trauma affects you psychologically, it affects you emotionally, it affects you physically. Go and read The Body Keeps the Score if you have not read that book yet. There is also spiritual trauma, which I feel is not discussed, spoken about, or even explored and researched enough. Let me know in the comments if this is a topic that you would like me to cover.
People have generational wealth. I have generational trauma.
What are the types of trauma? Trauma is not only limited to things like physical abuse, where we find ourselves in domestic violence situations or we find ourselves in altercations. Trauma can also look like witnessing a traumatic event, such as the pandemic, such as a war, such as a natural disaster like a flood, because there are events that are happening there that are going to affect you, people around you, your environment, and so on. Today, I want to focus specifically on childhood trauma, which affects your shadow, isithunzi sakho. Most of us have experienced some or other form of childhood trauma. This may have come in the form of physical abuse, directly or indirectly, which is perhaps you witnessing someone in your family or a caregiver experiencing this violence within the household. There is also emotional abuse, whereby the child gets involved in certain disputes between parents.
I have my dad's cheekbones and also his emotional unavailability.
And then there are, of course, the more despicable acts of physical abuse, which is often sexual. It also includes the child being given lashings. Some children are deprived of certain resources, necessities that they need to survive. I need us to understand that childhood trauma is particularly problematic because regardless of the age of the person, for as long as you are under the age of 21, you are still developing. There are parts of your brain, but also other parts of your body that have not fully developed yet. They are still in their formation stage. And so the things that are happening to you while that is going on means that your brain is going to retain that information as well as that structure and that way of functioning going on into your adulthood. In the Black, specifically the African community, there is this train of thought that once you grow up, you're meant to grow up and magically recover or forget about all of these terrible experiences that you have witnessed. A child never forgets. Even if the child consciously forgets, subconsciously they never do. Your subconscious is always recording.
Trauma makes you stronger. No, bitch, it makes me traumatized. It does make me funny though. Mainly because I have to use humor to mask the pain.
And a lot of the times in African traditional healing, we are able to pick up childhood trauma through what your dreams tell us. We speak to you about what it is you dream at night, because when you are dreaming, you are entering a specific brainwave state. You are subconsciously entering that state. And so your subconscious is going to play out things that it recorded in the past and the present. There are very many ways in which trauma can affect the individual. You let me know in the comments if you want me to explore some of those ways. There are a lot of very terrible things that result from us having experienced trauma in our childhoods. The most heinous and painful of these is often what we call dysregulation.
If you get generational trauma today, you can also get
maladaptive coping mechanisms, difficulty forming meaningful relationships, emotional numbness.
And with the premium plan, Passing trauma to the next generation?
The American Psychological Association defines dysregulation as any excessive or otherwise poorly managed mechanism or response. And what this means cognitively, which is how your thoughts or your brain patterns affect your emotions, is that your brainwave state, which is naturally flowing in a progression like this for the most part, now experiences something that causes it to function in an irregular manner. And this makes it difficult for you to control your emotions, how you respond to certain situations, often causing you to behave in erratic manners, which are often misunderstood or misdiagnosed as other behavioral problems, patterns, or disorders.
The best part about it, it's free 99.
A lot of these patterns of behavior in our community tend to be misunderstood and are often deemed or classified as the child just acting out, or the person just acting out, the person having a mood or personality disorder, and this is not the case. The person is traumatized, they have never dealt with this trauma, and the body is trying to communicate. The mind is trying to communicate. The spirit, the emotion is trying to communicate the fact that something is wrong, the person is dysregulated, and the person needs to heal from this, and then also develop coping strategies in order to be able to deal with such situations better in the future.
So what are you waiting for? Don't let it end with you. Pass on generational trauma? A tutor